And it appears the deep state is alive and well. Miranda Devine of the New York Post has reported that appear that a damning condemnation of FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino. But hold on, listen to why. Devine highlighting a document put together by a National Alliance of Retired and Active Duty FBI Special Agents and Analysts. Anonymous, of course, who call the Bureau a rudderless ship and all effed up. So the so-called alliance claiming that Patel is in over his head and that Patel and Bongino have been obsessed with social media, even though Dan Bongino gave up like the #1 streaming platform to go do this, and he's basically been radio silent on his personal social. But anyway, where was this alliance for the past 4 years when Mar-a-Lago was being raided? Where were they when CNN showed up for a pre-dawn raid of Roger Stone? Where was their outrage over 274 FBI agents present on January 6th? I mean, spare me the disclaimer that not one of these anonymous agents is proclaimed. Well, actually, they are saying that there's some Trump supporters in there. I mean, this is clearly being done to undermine the president and who he's placed in charge. In fact, Bongino hitting back with some stats for the last 9 months saying, oh, weird, violent crime arrests up 100%, espionage arrests up 40%, homicide rate double-digit drop from 2024, on track for the lowest this year, or the lowest in a while, actually. Child victims identified or located, 23% increase. Bongino concluding, saying, quote, some people would like a return to the old guard, not happening. George Papadopoulos, former Trump advisor and victim of the deep state himself. George, look, disgruntled employees that, maybe their friends got fired for being deep staters?
Yeah, Carl, thanks a lot for having me. Look, President Trump has assembled one of the most formidable and patriotic cabinets in modern American history. And some of those individuals, like Kash Patel at the FBI and Dan Bongino at the FBI, have done incredible work here. And that's something that Dan Bongino always does. He brings the receipts. When you had these deep staters come out and try to lambast him with anonymous leaks or whatever they were trying to do, he came back and said, the FBI under our leadership, under President Trump's leadership, has done X, Y, Z. We're securing the homeland, we're dismantling the deep state, and we are once again enforcing a one-tier justice system in America. That's the message, and that's what the American people want.
Yeah, the other thing, too, is look, I know Kash Patel. I do know Dan Bongino. And this is a guy who gave up the #1 podcast, making a ton of money to go make, I don't know, $175,000 a year, move back to D.C., deal with the swamp, face public criticism, and barely ever do any media. And they're saying that, oh, he's camera hungry. Yeah, okay. The alliance, also this report, the Trump derangement syndrome is alive and well, and the FBI reporting that multiple sources independently report FBI special agents, quote, dislike President Donald J. Trump, with a source stating that the number of FBI employees exhibiting TDS is much more widespread within the FBI. Well, then go find another job. I don't know, go join the domestic police force of Brazil. I don't care.
I mean, this is exhibit A of why conservatives and MAGA and President Trump, his team, and everybody that supports him has been facing such weaponization by these individuals, because they've allowed their bias to permeate how they actually conduct themselves as law enforcement officials, how prosecutors bring charges or not bring charges, how they basically throw the kitchen sink at everybody and just destroy the Constitution in the process. It's because of their political bias. Mm-hmm. These individuals, like you said, if you don't like the president, you don't want to serve underneath the president, get out, because you're causing enough damage.
Yeah, it's just all crazy to me. Well, George Papadopoulos, you would know probably better than anybody, so we appreciate it very much, sir.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.